Welcome to Sholicast, the podcast all about Lolly and Shota, including Not Safe for Work. Sholicast is hosted by me, Hydro, and Dr. X. Together, we make up Team Cyberhex. We're the developers of Insexual Awakening 1 and 2, an adult visual novel game where you play as a Shota protagonist and get into all sorts of wholesome, naughty fun with friends and family. I primarily work on the writing and planning for our games, and Dr. X works on the programming, artwork, and additional writing. If you'd like to play Insexual Awakening 1 or 2, you can download them at our official Barag at barag.net/cyberhex. You can also check out our continued development progress of Insexual Awakening 2 at our Subscribestar, which is subscribestar.adult/cyberhex. Welcome back, everyone, to Sholicast. I'm Hydro with Dr. X once again, and for this episode, we are joined by Khaz, or is it Khaz? Welcome.
It's Khaz. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast.
As we start off with all these episodes, how did you first get into Lolly/Shota art? Like, what piqued your interest in it?
This goes back to like when I was a kid, because I both come from and live in Brazil, and as a child, I was exposed to anime just right off the bat. You know, anime was always a big thing here in Brazil, and I was just always fascinated by it. Absolutely friggin' loved it. Saint Seiya, you know, that kind of stuff. And when I was about 7 years old, give or take, my family moved to Asia. We lived in Singapore for a few years, and there I met a lot of Japanese friends, a lot of Chinese friends, a lot of Korean friends, and that's where I was mostly exposed to this stuff. You know, I thought that anime was a lot more limited, and over there, you know, people showed me stuff like Crayon Sheen, Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon. You know, it was just a lot of amazing friggin' stuff. They also introduced me to manga, which I always thought was just comics, like different types of comics. They explained to me like what the difference was. And of course, hentai. You know, there were a lot of, you know, kids there with older brothers, and because it was the 90s and it was a different time and like the internet wasn't as big, a lot of, you know, people would have like family that would come from Japan, and they'd smuggle in some doujin or something else. And then, yeah, like we had this whole thing in the school where I studied in, where like the kids would be like, oh, you're like, I got this really cool, like a new manga. Would you like to see it? And then we'd just slink away. And then we'd look at it and be like, oh God, this is so fucking good. So that was my first exposure to it overall. And also, you know, they taught me like how to like search for that stuff. Like the forums, you know, where artists would normally post work. That's where also where I found out that digital art was a thing, as well as like games like Toho, VNs, you know, and yeah, I've been in love with the art and the culture ever since. And I kept it alive as much as I could once we came back to Brazil. When I was around 10 or 11, you know, is when we came back. Because at the time, Singapore had this thing where you weren't allowed to stay there for more than 2 years, or you could with very few exceptions. So my family was allowed to stay for a little bit longer. So I remember we came back as I was about to turn 11 years old. But yeah, we stayed there for a good long while, a lot of my childhood. And it was amazing. It was a completely different world. Essentially, like going from like Brazil in the 90s to Singapore in the 90s was like traveling in time, you know, being able to see the future. Because Brazil, it wasn't until very recently that Brazil sort of exploded, with tech and progress and whatnot. It was something like during the late 2000s, early 10s. Before that, very few people in Brazil owned a computer. But everyone in Singapore owned a computer. Everyone had video games. Everyone would read manga and comic books. It was a completely different thing. It was a completely different culture. And when I came back, I tried my best to hang tight to that. I missed it a lot. And then that's when I found out that weebs are a thing. Sometime around the tail end of middle school, early high school. And oh boy. Just stuck around them.
It must, being in Singapore then must have had a pretty profound effect on you then for you to being in Brazil where the technology was a lot more limited, or you had to wait a little longer before it really started to kind of come into its own. So that must have had a profound effect on you, just those few years in Singapore.
Oh, it absolutely did. That's when I realized that there were a lot more options than I had originally realized. For instance, art. We had a family friend who was an artist. And my mom would basically say, see, you can never become an artist because then you'll be like her. She's just lucky she married someone who's rich. Otherwise she'd just be another failed artist. And then we go to Singapore, and then I see that there's this entire culture around artists who are venerated, who can make a living off of it, who are legendary. They're respected. They're not just, drawing, paintings and sketches for friends. They're actually in the business, and that kind of put the fire in me. And I remember having this one friend. It was this one Korean kid, I believe. He was just an amazing artist. We must have been 9 years old. That kid, anything you gave him, he would just draw outright, almost perfectly. And then I was like, oh man, teach me how to do that, because that, I fucking love it. So, he pointed me at the right direction. He taught me how to look that stuff up. It was still it was the 90s still, so I had to go to a library, to research art books and that kind of thing. It wasn't as easy as looking stuff up on the internet, but yeah, it was an amazing experience. And then when we came back, I had to wait for a bit. I remember it took us a year or two until we had internet again, and by that point, culture on the internet had evolved a lot, from my time in Asia. But I'd learned that, the tech for digital art, which was once very niche and was something that only companies could afford, had started becoming a lot more available, to people. So it was sometime around high school that I decided to take the plunge and go all right, much as I love, because at that point I always continued drawing ever since I was 9 or 10 years old. That just existed, in me, that desire to produce art. So, and I was always into the sort of stuff, because I also play the piano. I've composed stuff in the past, and it was something that if art didn't work, then I'd become a musician. And thankfully art worked. But yeah, no, I always had the desire in me to keep it going. So it was around high school that I realized that there were tablets available for digital art that were really good, that you could import and make things work. And then I, got myself a summer job, saved up, got a tablet, managed to get it imported, and things just ever since, I never stopped.
Now, for those who don't already know, what kind of art do you usually make? What kind of characters or subjects?
Oh, it's I'd like to say that I'm a variety artist. I draw pretty much anything. But lately, I've been focusing a lot more on like Eastern style art and hentai, primarily, mostly lolly. That's what I've been known for. That's what I got, like, my name out there as, like a hentai artist.
So is lolly your favorite kind of character in hentai?
Oh, absolutely. Lolly has always been my favorite because I like adorable things. It's kind of funny because I remember back in high school, I would just draw like Cardcaptor Sakura, Chobits. You know, like I'd keep drawing fan art of like any cutesy manga that I was reading at the time. And a lot of my friends would go like, "Man, why aren't you drawing Goku, man? What are you, gay?" And I'm like, "Oh, man, I like cute things, man. I don't know what to tell you."
Well, that's one of the major pillars to what makes a lolly is the cute factor. That's it. That's possibly the most important thing in design and how they look.
If they're not cute, it ain't lolly. I'm sorry.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, we would agree. I would say.
I love how people are like, what are you, gay? But you're like drawing girls all the time.
Yeah, that was the weirdest thing to me because in my head I remember thinking like, I didn't say anything, but that kind of made a knot in my head. I was like, wait a minute, I'm not gay. Like I'm gay because I'm not drawing burly men. What backwards ass logic is that?
yeah. Prove you're not gay by drawing a bunch of like topless, muscular, sweaty men.
Yeah.
With all those ripped abs and chest muscles, and yeah,
dude. No, then oh man, it was weird. It was a different time.
Maybe it's one of those weird things where like there's like, well, you know, you reflect who you are in your drawing, and what's this lolly stuff supposed to represent? Maybe it's like that weird logic. There's like, I mean, shouldn't you be drawing Goku because that's what you want to look like, right?
Yeah, no, bro. I don't know, man. Could be. I don't. Because I do not know. I do not know what that logic was.
Imagine if like that like that's how it kind of was even like today. Like if you drew lolly, people wouldn't like be against like, you know, banning you off of platforms. They'd just be like, oh, that's so lame. Why are you drawing that? It would just be such a weird parallel.
I remember that there was this one time I got like in deep with Avatar: The Last Airbender. You know, I got in like the fucking fan base. I was part of the shipping wars. I was cringe as absolute hell.
I was part of Korrasami with Legend of Korra, but I also loved Avatar: Last Airbender. Yes, so I'm familiar.
So I remember at one point I was part of a few forums and shit back in the day. And then I remember I drew hentai of like Aang and Katara. And I was banned from the forum. And I remember it wasn't because the forum didn't allow hentai or lolly or anything, because they post that shit all the time. It was because one of the moderators there looked at my drawing and he was kind of done with people doing like Katara and Aang ships. So he was just like, you know what? I'm fucking done with this cringe ass shit. You're fucking banned. Anyone else start drawing their shit and they're fucking going.
Oh man, this was bad. Yeah, I can totally picture that back in the day. That's the sort of thing that you would get banned for. Was not so much like, no, we can't allow lolly shit. It'd more be like, God, I hate all these fucking shippers doing all this stupid fan art, and then they ban you for that. It's like when moderators were on power trips or whatever.
No, the thing is that mod, if I recall correctly, he was pro Zuko, and he wanted Katara to be with Zuko. So anyone else who didn't agree with it,
Yep, that was big time back then. Yep,
that was huge. The fucking shipping wars, man.
I mean, that's how it was back in the day. It wasn't like about Lolly and Shota being banned. It was about like who has the best taste in shipping.
Yep. I'll get out of here with this cringe fucking shit, man.
I could tolerate that more than what you have to deal with now. But it's like,
oh, absolutely. Like, I'm not even mad that happened. I'm just like, I genuinely was like, took long enough.
I mean, even with our game IA, although it's much more friendly, but there are people who definitely during the first and Sexual Awakening game who were like, no, this MILF is the best, Simone is the best, and then someone else would be like, no, Casey's the best, no. And so like it brought me back once I started seeing those back and forths between people. It's really funny.
Oh, man. Oh, it's fucking hilarious, man. I legit missed that that time. It was a magical time. People were just stupid. There was no malice.
This would have been back in like 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, I would think then.
Yeah, just about.
Yep, that's when the peak of all that stuff was going on. And I think that's when Tumblr started to get its momentum too. It started to really pick up on Tumblr, and that's where like shipping wars really took off, and that's where fan art, Tumblr kind of was like a double-edged sword in a way. Like it became a place where fan bases like would just get out of control with different shipping wars, but it also was a great place for hentai artists and artists to be able to really gain a big following. Because back then Twitter was kind of around, but it was really in its infancy, and it wasn't really a place where artists went to. Like that was not the go-to place. It was Tumblr was the go-to place for artists.
It was Tumblr and DeviantArt. I remember.
DeviantArt, that's right.
Yeah. If you wanted to make it big, you had to make it big in one of those two. And also,
there was also that forum, the I don't think it's WOEC forums, but there was a big, like there were still some forums back then that were huge and that were like dedicated to just art and stuff like that. Those were really big too.
There was also that one website with a tank. I forgot the name. It's where people like Newgrounds. Yeah, Newgrounds was another one. Oh my god. The only issue is like Newgrounds. It was you could produce art and post it there, but it was really difficult for you to make it there as an artist. It was easier if you did animations. Yes,
I would agree with that. Yep, because that was the prevalent thing.
Yeah, it was animations and Flash games that they had over there, and yeah, it was. Oh man, good shit.
I know after Tumblr banned porn that Newgrounds had like a resurgence.
Yep.
And I remember for a time, animators started to kind of migrate from Newgrounds to YouTube, because YouTube back then, around that time, before the adpocalypse, as they call it, that they had a system with the algorithm where all that really mattered were getting likes and views. It wasn't the duration of time that your video didn't really matter. So if you were an animator, all you had to do was make like a 30-second or 1 minute or like just like a song or something and of an animation, and you could actually make a living on YouTube.
Yeah, you absolutely could. No, man, I remember the fucking good old days with like fucking it was Ego Raptor and Oni and Ross Draws.
Which they're all still around. It's just their approach had to change.
Yeah. I'm like genuinely glad at least that like the a good few chunk of them managed to like retain their identity from those days. So yeah, we also had a resurgence of that. They got like Mr. Pillow and like that one green gremlin looking dude, I forget his name. Goobus or something.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's also Flash Gets.
Meat Canyon. Holy shit, Meat Canyon is a goddamn genius.
Now, what do you think about like this like surge of like VTubers who are like lollies, basically?
Oh, I love them.
I do too. I mean, I know there's like kind of like a part of the internet that doesn't like VTubers, but I think they're honestly far more entertaining than watching like just a regular person Yeah, in my opinion, like I think it's more fun to see like these characters and people putting voices to the characters and having a good time with their designs and coming up with new outfits all the time and things like that.
No, I agree. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I love, like, I actually got into VTubing a little late in the game. I used to see videos of what's her face, Kitsunai? No,
Oh, yes.
Kizunai. Yeah, Kizunai. And like her, like doing Resident Evil streams and just swearing all the time, and that was hilarious. And it wasn't until much later that I realized, I saw people drawing like these characters. I'd see it on Twitter, I'd see it on PixieV, Barog, and I'm like, where the hell are they getting this? And then I realized, they're VTubers. Okay, no, they're VTubers. I get it. And it wasn't until Hololive came in with the English VTubers that I finally managed to get into it. And then I started checking out other Western VTubers. I found Lily Hops. I found Millie Moo at the time. She's retired at this point. And it just led me down this rabbit hole. And then, I absolutely love them. Love it, love it. They're always very dynamic. It's always like this. I don't know, man. It's got this really wholesome, just hanging out vibe. It's comfortable. It's cozy. It's just, vibing with friends. And yeah, whenever I can, I watch like Fallen Shadow. I've been helping Poppy get back into VTubing as well. I've been helping her redesign her model. I've been helping a VTuber that's currently out as well, called Ellie. On Twitter, it's Computer Wolf. And I've been helping her with her design.
Oh, so you actually are actively participating in the VTubing community in terms of designing and getting them set up. That's super cool.
Yeah. No, I've got like anything I can do to help them out. Like I actively try to do it. There was a bit in my life. I'm not going to get into it too hard, but I was in a low point, a few years ago, on account of some personal stuff that happened. And ironically enough, it was watching VTubers that helped me like get out of it. So I've just pretty much like fallen in love with the concept, with like the characters, and anything I can do to help them out. I always provide services, always do anything I can. I've done emotes, for a few. I've done like fan art, commissioned art. And yeah, I hope to keep doing it.
So in a way, it's like you're almost like you wanted to kind of give back to the VTubing community. Is that kind of what your motivation was to get into it? Or was it more that you loved it so much that you wanted to just become a part of it? Or was it both?
It was a bit of both. Originally, it was like, I would like to help out in any way that I can. So I started doing emotes for a few smaller ones. I started just drawing fan art and putting them out there as much as I could. And it was a sort of way to pay back for the help that I felt they'd given me, because they were just doing their shit, and they were being fun, and they were being funny. And whenever, I was watching a stream, I wasn't as depressed anymore. And then that feeling started to stick. And then the moments that I was depressed became, the exception as opposed to the norm. And they helped me climb out of that hole. So, by that point, I was already working with a few of them, and I loved the community and just interacting with them and getting to know them, that I just never stopped, and I wanted to be a part wherever I could.
Well, that's super cool, and I think that's great that you're helping out VTubers and lolly VTubers, especially because being a basically lolly anything, whether it's an artist, VTuber, you're always going to have certain barriers that you have to overcome. Especially if like you're a lolly VTuber who sometimes does lewd things that or like has a model that they can toggle off to be completely naked, completely naked. Then of course you enter a whole different realm, and so that's great that you're now. Do you also like do things like, do you make like promotional art or like banners for them, or like other like miscellaneous art to kind of like nice to spruce up their channel or like their social media stuff?
Yeah. Whenever anyone requests that I do anything for them, it's just say the word. I've helped. Like right now, the one VTuber that I'm trying my absolute hardest to get out there is Poppy Mousy, and we are doing a complete overhaul of our Twitch. New model, new emotes. I'm gonna be doing the banners, stream elements, as many as I can. I have like animators coming in to help, get her live 2D model going.
Nice.
Yeah, like I've been working on the model, alongside her this whole time, and yeah, just trying to like give her a chance, a fighting chance to be able to be the VTuber that I know that she can be, and just have fun with it. Because that's the thing, the lolly artist community is minuscule. It's tiny. It's sad to say, but we're kind of a dying breed, and we're stronger together. And it's the same, with VTubers, because VTubers and artists go hand in hand. So whenever artists can help, there's only good things can happen, when they work side by side. And that's exactly what I want to like bring to the table. I've had a lot of people help me out through the years. I've had a lot of much more competent artists who had no business helping me out, help me out. And I've always grown because of it. And anything I could do to help them out, I did. And I still do. I like to this day, if I'm in communities I have no business being in, I know artists I have no business knowing, because they are just gargantually bigger and more competent than I am. And they help. I can just hit them up and go, hey man, could you help me with this thing? Like I'm having a little trouble with this commission. Yeah, sure. Send me the thing. I'll help you redline it. I don't even think twice. And it's great. And they come to me for help as well. And I help them out. New set of eyes, that kind of stuff. And I want, we need that. We need that kind of unity. It's not about, like, there's this one thing that I don't really agree with that's been going on, especially like on Twitter, which is like naming and shaming. It's this whole like drama angle. We got to call out the antis. We got to fight back. We got to push. Nah, man, ignore the antis. Yeah, I don't agree that like butting heads with antis is productive at all. What's productive is showing everybody, hey, look how good of a thing we have here. It's what happens in art. If you make good art consistently, you show growth, you show that you have good ideas, you show that you're willing to interact with people, your audience will come. It's the same with VTubing. It's the same with everything. And if all you're doing is shouting down and calling people names, that's all you'll be known for. And it's a shame. It's a shame if that is all you're known for. It's a waste.
The best things we can do in the Lolly Shoda community is just help each other out and be a strong community. And I think that's a lot more important than arguing with antis.
Exactly.
So that's a losing battle every time.
Okay, like in terms of like convincing an anti or in some way, or helping them come along, it's honestly probably a lot better if they just see that we're like a the community of like regular people just helping each other out, and not like like monsters or whatever the fuck they think. And that's, and having like a very positive community, that helps them a lot more than focusing on the negative and stuff like that.
Yeah, like nobody cares, right? The thing with the drama is that it can feed a false sense of growth, because if all you do, on Twitter is, call people names, eventually you're going to find a big enough audience that agrees with you, and they're going to cheer you on. They're going, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, be based. But then that's all you're known for. And that does not translate to your work being viewed. Because something that people keep saying, don't change art, to appease to people that are never going to watch it or are never going to consume it. Yeah, correct. The exact same is true for art and VTubing and animators. Just be yourself, do good work, be entertaining, and the community will come. It's not a competition. Like artists, I've been in other communities before where artists saw each other as competition. It was horrible. It was toxic. They kept shouting newbies down. They kept going like, we're doing this because we want to see if you can survive the trial by fire. Because if you survive this, then you'll show us that you really care. No, why not just tell the kid some tips or give him a north, because with me, it's always been an artist who is better than me, that understands things better, will tell me, oh, I read this book, or, oh, I did this class regarding this thing. Maybe you could find something of your own. Oh, fuck yeah, dude, let's go. And it's the same with pretty much anything. If you give newbies and smaller content creators a chance to develop their skill, then you grow together.
Exactly, and it's important for let's say there's a newcomer in the Shoto community who does art, or even any kind of artist in any community. It's important that they don't try to compare themselves with other people too much, and just try to.
The comparison thing will happen. It always happens. It happens to me. It has happened to every other artist I've known, regardless of size. It is just a thing that happens. The important thing to remember, and this is something that was taught to me by a much, much bigger artist, was never compare your journey with someone else's. Because it's not about being better or worse. It's not a competition. It's about my journey right now. The chapter of my life, of my art journey, is here. It is further than yours, and you have a lot of ground to cover. So, as an artist who has done this for longer, or has figured out this before this other person, I can perhaps show you some way of walking this road that'll make it easier, that'll help you travel this faster. And when you feel like, and then this is a tip I give to any aspiring artist, or entertainer or whatever, if you ever feel inferior or you feel yourself comparing to other people, it's legitimately not a competition. The thing is, right, you just need to learn. That's all. And you need to put in the effort into learning and walk the path. That's it. Everyone's been there. Everyone is constantly thinking that they could do better, that they could be better. Why aren't I a better artist? Why are my numbers so low? Why is this? Why is that? Just breathe. Introspection. Figure stuff out. Ask bigger creators. Ask people who you might know. Join communities. Because, artists stronger together.
Exactly. And, that's one of the reasons why we started the podcast is having that networking and, helping artists out.
No, hell yeah.
Showcasing the work and, getting the word out there on their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good thing you guys are doing that.
It's always going to be a constant journey as a creative person, whether you're an artist, musician, a game developer. It's always going to be a continuous journey. It's not like all these successful creators. Well, first of all, they definitely put in the work. Like there is no doubt that you have to put in the practice and the work in order to reach that point. And then, but they're always going to be working for new stuff and wanting to develop new things. I don't think I've ever seen a single creative person be like, no, you know what? I'm satisfied where I've gotten. This is as far as I'll go, and that's it. Like that never happened. That doesn't happen.
No, here's the thing. I've been around long enough, and I've been to enough places to have seen that happen before. The only problem is, occasionally, this one little niggling bug will always show up at the back of your head and start like chewing at it.
Yep.
And you'll go like, man, why aren't I growing? I'm seeing that one artist that like 3 years ago, had like 100 followers or some shit, did some pretty decent art, but now, Jesus Christ, they're like drawing circles around me. What the fuck is happening? And it's like, look, there are people who settle, and there's nothing wrong. If you're happy with where you are in your art journey, it is what it is. Just remember that once you settle, it's hard to regain that momentum. It's easier to always keep moving than it is to keep start-stopping. So keep studying, keep practicing, keep trying to outdo yourself. Don't, because eventually you'll see something or meet someone who will inspire you, and you'll go like, oh my God, why aren't I this good? Like, what happened? I have seen it happen so much.
There's like that meme of showing an artist like drawing something they did in 2010, and then it shows their drawing in 2023 or 2022, and it looks slightly worse. And then they like make that reaction face. They're like, "What? How does it happen?"
Oh my God!
You're right though that it's definitely. I think creative people always will have that challenge to overcome of wondering why they aren't as successful or wondering why they don't have as many followers. But I think, and Dr. X and I can kind of understand it from this perspective that it's more about the most important thing you can do, especially as a Lolly Shota artist, is to not get discouraged by people who don't like what you're drawing, because I feel like that's probably the biggest motivation killer of all.
Oh, it is. Oh my God.
Because I have heard of artists, creators who definitely have like lost almost all their motivation from that. But on the other hand, I've heard of artists who just get and this is actually for people who are listening to the podcast who may not be a creator but love supporting creators. You're like following them or whatever. If you really love someone's art, I seriously would recommend that if you ever feel like it, send a nice little message to an artist that you really like or you're following or whatever, and tell them how much you love their art. And believe me, when you do that, that actually makes a big difference for an artist to hear that. It's a huge motivator.
Oh my God. I've seen artists who were going through like the absolute worst thing, and then they were like, oh man, I'm about to quit art, this fucking sucks, this, that, and the other. And then they get this one random DM, the person going, oh my God, that one pic you posted like 4 months ago, man, that was awesome. And that's it. And then they will completely like, all right, fire's back in, mojo's restored, let's fucking go.
Well, it's like that extended hand. It's like that extended hand or like that ladder to get them out of the hole that they're in.
Exactly. It legitimately helps, and it helps so much.
I mean, I know this was like several years ago, and it's so funny to think about it now. But Dr. X and I at one point were at a spot where we were like contemplating whether or not IA would continue or not, just from the various pressures of stupid websites and Patreon and things like that. and it was because of the community that we were able to kind of. It was both us, kind of doing a lot of inner reflection, like you said. You have to do a lot of introspection as a creative person to really motivate, also to motivate yourself as well. But the community kind of was that extra step to really push us past. At least for me, that's kind of how it was. But I think Dr. X too, where we now are at a spot where we just want to keep going. We just want to keep creating, and we don't really care how the environment is, because in our opinion, we actually think, Dr. X and I both think that the Lolly Shota stuff is actually going in a positive direction in terms of people accepting it more than it was in the past. And I think part of that reason is because you now are getting more communities, more people joining together. Like you said, it's kind of like the apes together strong thing. It's like lollies and shotas, cute and ooh together.
Yeah, exactly.
And so now you've got places like Barag, you've got things like different element servers, and you've got Aethy, and you've got suddenly places that didn't exist like 5 or 6 years ago now are there, and now you're getting more and more communities building up, and all these artists who are doing Lolly Shota, or even some of the other fetishes that tend to get targeted a lot, like bestiality or zoophilia and like non-con stuff. They get targeted all the time too.
Oh, they absolutely do.
But now they got a place to be to kind of call home with other fellow creators.
Yeah. No, I would much rather, for people who do these controversial subject matters, don't stop. Never stop. If the money at some point stops coming in for it, adapt. Draw something else, but keep doing what you're doing on your own time, and I'm sure that things will turn around. Because the thing is, right now, what's happening isn't that people keep telling me, that there are so few Lolly Shot artists left. I'm like, it's not that they're gone.
Difficult to find.
It's not even difficult to find, but sometimes it is. There are some of them who don't even post on the internet anymore because they don't care for the backlash. So what they do instead is they post, to their own little communities. I've seen artists in IRC even today, in this day and age, post stuff in IRC because they just don't want to fuck around with Discord and whatnot, and they keep their communities closed. Closed, and it's better to have that small, tight-knit community that is sustainable rather than an explosive, volatile one that'll blow up in your face and get you banned everywhere. And right now, what's going on is we're at a sort of a turning point.
Yes.
Yeah, where people keep going, because this lolly shit, they keep trying so hard to sanitize it. They keep trying to rationalize it. They keep trying, no, this is degeneracy. You can't do it. And you have Twitter banning the term lolly. And then you have websites like PixieV that just keep growing and growing and growing, and it does not stop. And the difference is they allow lolly. Barag keeps growing. Miski is, surprisingly enough, it's going harder than remember, what was that? That one Facebook thing that they tried to do recently. It was like Twitter. I don't even remember the name. The people were like, "Oh my god, Twitter is dying."
Yeah, the stupid spaces thing.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that crap even existed.
Yeah, see what I mean? That one website that was like an at. The symbol was an at. I forgot the name.
Yeah, I think it was Spaces.
Yeah, that place is dead now. Why? Oh, they didn't allow porn. So there you go.
I don't know if have you ever heard of J18 publishing?
J8, I have not, no.
Dr. X kind of introduced me to that, and man, I gotta say, it is impressive how J18. First of all, they went to
Anime Expo.
I always forget the name. Anime Expo, and they had a huge booth. But what do? They actually publish different doujins and hentai mangas that are not only translated to English but are uncensored, and they do shota and lolly, and they promote that stuff on Twitter. They do all that stuff, and they've been getting momentum too.
Yeah, there you go.
Because the thing is, and this is kind of like Dr. X. Dr. X has this theory, and I think he's right about this, that because J18 is an entity, because it's like a business that aunties can't really, like, nobody can really go after them because it's not like an individual. It's like a company. So that I think it's awesome to see stuff like that, because that means, like you said, the crossroads and the tides are turning, where you're getting these communities are starting to grow and grow and grow. And as they grow more, and as things like J18 become more, they allow the acceptance of different art and stuff like that, and different creations of lolly, shota, things like that. What ends up happening is sometimes those creators who've been, in these very tiny little communities, once they start to see that things are becoming a little safer outside of where they currently are, they kind of break out of their shell a little bit, or they might get a little bit of that motivation, and then that just kind of continues the momentum. It's like a psychological thing. It just continues the momentum, and then that's what would be awesome to see that happen.
Yeah, no, it absolutely would. I agree with you on that. And right now, one of the reasons I'm saying that, like, well, we're at a tipping point is because, especially in regards to VTubing, there is a lot of talk in the background saying that, like, oh, there are companies that are, like, if you open up as a lolly VTuber these days, it's basically career suicide. You're gonna get blacklisted, this, that, and the other. Look, could that be happening? I don't know. Maybe. I know companies do stupid shit. What I know is one company opening up today that is anti-lolly, and then Hololive, which features Gura heavily, who is
their star child, basically.
Exactly. Look, every big Hololive VTuber, like their biggest ones, are either lolly or lolly adjacent. Most of the Western streamers as well, like the indie VTubers on the West as well, like the big ones, lollies. You have Lily Hobbs, you have Shondo, and is it the design that's carrying it? I don't know, but I'm just saying that there is a market for it. It's not a small one, and anyone who leans on that market is going to outlive everyone who hasn't, because it keeps happening. I'm just going by the history. Look, DeviantArt, why did it fail? Why is it down right now? It's supporting shit that artists don't care about. It went anti-porn. It allowed porn before. Suddenly it didn't anymore. So I understand that we are at a cultural shift right now, where the pendulum swung back around really hard, and a lot of places are becoming really fucking Puritan and stuffy all of a sudden. But that pendulum's going to swing right back around, and as soon as it does, anyone who got in at this point, doing the lolly stuff, I can guarantee is going to outlast the people who haven't. I know so many artists these days who started with lolly, who made their communities with lolly, who had to give it up, because of Patreon, and who now refuse to do it, or have to live, have to create a different art handle, or whatever. It happens a lot, and it sucks. But the artists I know today that stuck with lolly are, like, many of them are perfectly fine. So there is a way. They're doing their best. So yeah, they just don't listen to the propaganda. Don't, find ways to circumvent, and just keep doing what you're doing.
That's actually a really good that's actually a really good point. Like, Dr. X and I have found that since we have kind of filtered out the noise of social media and sensationalism and fear mongering and panicking and stuff, our mental well-being has improved tremendously.
Yeah, that's the thing. Of course, if you listen to only the people that are shouting you down, that's all you're going to hear. If all you're doing is out there on Twitter seething because, oh, these dirty aunties, instead of being out there in the community, which is continuously growing, instead of being among friends, among artists, among creators who are friendly to them, of course it's going to chip away at you. It's acidic. That thing just eats at you. And
exactly, it's especially for people in the Lolly Shadow community, it's important that we really take a hard look at all the positives that's going on. You know what I mean, and not focus too much on the negatives, because there is tons of positives. I've been having a great time in the Lolly Shadow community for all these past years, and it's honestly been one of the best times of my entire life. So,
oh hell yeah! I wouldn't be able to do. I'm just saying this, right? I would not be able to do what I do today without the love and support of the entire Lolly Show community, of my artist friends who help me out so much, who continuously just give me that, that push, that drive to keep going. I can be depressed as hell. I can be not feeling well. I can be in the middle of a vicious week-long art block. They're always there. You have Fanbox backers, you have clients, you have friends, you have this entire community.
Subscribe star.
Exactly, that people who will support you if you're putting anything out there. It can be one person telling you, "Hey man, good job." That is enough. And try to grow with the community, not antagonizing, not going not seeking a fight, not trying to I'm gonna be a Lolly Show defender. That doesn't do anything. I'm sorry, it doesn't. So if you want out there, if you want to be there, support your local artist. Tell them how much you like their stuff. Just like them, retweet their stuff, cheer them on. You don't have to pay us. You don't have to of course, the money's great, but not only, of bread does a man live. You need that. You need to realize that artists are people too. And yeah, we have bad days. We have downs and our downs. And when someone tells us, "Hey man, you know what? Good job." Oh, that just makes all the difference.
It absolutely does. Yeah.
Yeah. So do that. Next time you feel angry at an auntie or whatever, and you want to shout one of them down, go to an artist instead and go, "Man, love this pic you drew." There you go. Right there. You're helping the community a lot more than you would by telling an auntie how much he sucks.
Yeah. And what's also really important is if you like someone's art, and you can just share it with your friends. Tell them about the artist.
Strategically, of course, because if some of your friends don't like that stuff, you can always make sure to send them stuff that they would be okay with.
No, that's another thing. Look, one thing I want to make absolutely clear here as well. Do not create an echo chamber. All right. One thing that's also becoming a lot more prominent these days, and I don't personally agree with, is I can just I can only hang around people who I agree with. No, that's dumb. I have, surprisingly enough, I have friends and I know artists personally who I have done things with professionally who are aunties. They don't like Lolly Show. But that's the thing, right? They don't care. They know I do it. They just don't care. They can go, "Oh, you know what? As long as you're not stuffing that down my throat, I'm perfectly fine with you. Just don't be a dick." So I know many artists who don't like Lolly Show. So I just send them pictures. I ask for help that aren't
lolly show related. They're not even against hentai. They just don't like lolly. Nothing wrong with that. It's just I don't see any of those, any of those people. And why am I friends with them? Because I don't see any of them being dicks about it. They're not out there going, you fucking degenerates. No, just I don't like it. They just tell me flat out, all right. You draw hentai, right? I'm like, yeah. You draw lolly? Yeah. Don't show me that. Perfectly fine.
I think that's an important distinction, is that I mean personally, somebody who doesn't like lolly shota but doesn't care if you do it, I don't really consider that person an anti, but
yeah.
Well, when I was talking about sharing with your friends, I don't mean like sharing indiscriminately. You need
yeah.
Don't don't share it with your grandma if you think she's gonna freak out about it, which you probably will.
Oh man.
Be smart about it, and of course respect the boundaries of your friends. If they don't want to see it, don't share with them.
It's that classic life rule. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, and so I was basically thinking about it in the context of having friends in the lolly and shota community, which is actually pretty important. If you like lolly and shota, you don't have to be an artist. You can just be an enjoyer. It's I think it's really important to have friends in that community because
it is. It absolutely is.
I know that some lolly and shota enjoyers they can feel pretty alone because might not have any friends who like that stuff, and that can bring them down, and so it's really try to network with people, try to talk to people in the community, at least if that's something you think you'd go for, and
yeah. No, I've actually known people, not only artists but just people who enjoy it, who told me before, man, I didn't know that there were so many people out there who enjoyed this sort of content, because the people I'm around with, they usually shout me down, they call me this, they call me that. I'm like, maybe you just need new friends. That's literally it. But yeah, surround yourself with all walks of life, but remember, you need friends, like-minded people around you as well. If you're finding yourself getting shouted down by friends in regards to this one thing, maybe try to find a few more like-minded friends in regards to that, because it helps to not feel like you're this weirdo, this friggin' oh man, am I in the wrong here, just having that thing in the back of your mind constantly. It is such a relief when you realize that you're not so strange, as people keep deeming, because you like a piece of content or another. I mean, holy shit, that could be about anything. I remember being told back when, I was in high school, oh man, Khaz, you are, so friggin' weird in regards to movies, because I love movies, man. So I'd fucking go on about cinematography of Aliens, the history behind it. Oh, have you watched Dune? And then people were like, oh man, you're fucking insufferable. Oh, all right, I'm sorry. So then I found, like-minded people who fucking loved movies, and every once in a while we get together, we watch movies. It's great. That's what I mean. It was awesome to see that, oh my God, there are people out there who enjoy this one aspect of life as much as I do. That is so cool.
Yeah. And do you remember back at the day, even furries had gotten kind of some of the same treatment that lolly and shota people do?
Oh yeah. Well, they still do.
And you know what the furries did is that they even despite all that, they just networked and became friends and made communities, and they became so fucking big that pretty much most people don't treat criticism against furries very seriously now.
Yeah, exactly. That is what I mean. You have to just show that the market is there, that the numbers are there, that the community is there. Oh my God, I remember back in the 90s when shit like Rescue Rangers came out. And everyone on the internet was going absolutely mental about Gadget.
Yes.
And then anytime anyone would post about, oh my God, Gadget is so cute, you guys, here's some fan art I made about her.
And then you'd get the odd guy go, you fucking animal fucker, get the fuck out of here. And then like years later, look at what happened.
I mean, if people today are talking about fucking the baseball mascot, man. We've gone a long way since then.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I remember back in high school, I could not talk about anime in high school. Like that was
oh man.
Like, because I mean, when you think about it, it wasn't as severe of getting pushed, like stigmatized as if you're furry or lolly or shota. But I remember anime was like, because back in like the 2000s and even into the early 2010s, anime was still like, if you were an anime fan in the United States or like in a Western country or whatever, you were considered a pretty big weirdo.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It wasn't until like later on when I got, into like college age that I finally met people who also really liked anime, and then I was able to get into it, because I think the reason why I didn't watch a whole ton of anime during my teens, or at least it took me a while to get into it, was because it was stigmatized. I couldn't really find people who I could talk about with different anime shows. Like, I loved the original Pokemon series, but like, you could not talk about that during middle school or high school. That they would shit on you hard if you talked about it.
Oh, like, oh, you fucking baby.
and now look at how much art there is of people fucking Pokemon. So
exactly. Oh my god. No, it do be like that, man. It do be like that. It is what it is. It used to be a lot of us like, oh man, I remember like myself, because I was a fan of like Saint Seiya. I remember like this one guy who I think he had like family in São Paulo or something, because like, for context, Brazil has this one city, which is the capital of the state, São Paulo. It's a city called São Paulo. And in that city, we had like the largest Japanese community outside of Japan in the entire world. And it's one of the reasons why Brazil has such an active like Japanese culture thing going on. Like, I don't know if you know, but like tokusatsu's in Brazil, like before the US got Power Rangers, we were getting tokusatsu's here all the time. You had Shiraya, Juspion, Changeman. We had everything that would come out in Japan. We would get a translated version. It was either like translated or like subbed. Some of them were subbed, I remember. Sometimes it wasn't even translated. That's because like we had the community for that. And then, that started getting slowly phased out, except for, within the Japanese communities. And then if you wanted anime, you would have to like know a guy who knew a guy who would often travel to São Paulo, and then he could score you a few VHS tapes. And I remember like this one guy who had family in São Paulo, and I'd constantly just give him a few bucks and be like, man, could you get me a VHS for this anime? And he's like, you're fucking weeb, man. Just cut that shit out. He would do it because I pay him, but he disliked it. And that's the point. And I remember I only really got found like-minded people when I was like in the second year of high school, when I found out that like, dirty, disgusting weebs were a thing, who were like really into it.
Yeah, like, see, I didn't have that in high school, so like I didn't get exposed to it until even later. Then I found out about weebs and stuff like that. But I definitely felt like there was a certain point where I think once Crunchyroll and once actually it was kind of a mixture of things. Number one is, I think, the ability of streaming services, I think, made a big difference with more people getting exposed to anime. And of course, communities growing. Like, in other words, just like Dr. X said, when the furry community was made fun of, when they were mocked and everything like that, they just stuck together, formed their own communities, and they got so massive and so large now, making fun of them now is just kind of ironic and more of a joke. Kind of the same thing with anime fans. They grew, banded together, made the big, huge communities. Now you've got like My Anime List, which is huge. You got all, and on top of that, you also had other factors in play, like you had big companies like Netflix adapting animes from mangas, and then also you had also the comic book industry just totally collapse in terms of their quality. So people are just like, man, this is friggin' garbage. And so then people started turning to mangas, and now mangas are more popular than United States comic books, like by a very large margin. They're way more popular.
Yeah, no, exactly. Here's a funny thing, though. I not to like shit talk the comic book community these days, but when I was younger, I was. And by the way, I also completely understand that each community, maybe I just got unlucky, but my interaction with the comic book community here in Brazil at the time was completely different from the anime and hentai community, mostly on account of like the whole thing of treating each other as like competition. That I saw it a lot more in the comic book community back in the mid 2000s than I did anywhere else. And it's one of the things that put me off it. Like, I remember at the time, I used to be big into comics. I would like get into comic book trading. I would just buy as many issues of stuff as I could. I was a huge fan of Marvel and DC. At the time, like Civil War was coming out, like the Marvel Saga Civil War, and I fucking loved that. And then I remember, like, I tried getting to know a little more about the community and stuff, and like meeting some artists. And my experience with it overall was pretty poor. There were, of course, a lot of amazing artists I met who weren't like that, but I met enough that I kind of backed out of it. And I decided to, like, what, maybe I'm gonna give this manga thing another shot.
Good decision.
Yeah. And oh man, yeah, it's been a really good thing. I feel like that was the right call to make when I made it.
Yeah, and so what I wanted to ask earlier is there any like franchises or fandoms you really like making art of?
Oh boy, I haven't really been able to make a lot of art of stuff recently, but I do like making VTuber art, like, a lot. It's one of my favorite things to draw.
That's like one of its own like categories on social media.
Yeah. I like let's see. Lately I've been playing a lot of Blue Archive, and I have been like jonesing to make some art of those girls as well. I've also done some fan art for one thing I really, really enjoyed was Maid Dragon. Like, I've drawn a lot of Kana, like, anytime I could. And Spy Family. I've also drawn
Love Spy Family.
Some Anya. Oh man, I've drawn Spy Family. Yeah, I've drawn Anya, and I want to draw her more. Currently working on a commission with her, and I cannot wait to be able to finish that because I love it. I freaking love Anya.
Anya's definitely, like, I would put her at the top of the tier list as true lolly. That you can also lewd. That's like way up there. That definitely.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
And Becky, I like Becky. She's cute too.
Yep, it's just everybody in that friggin' anime is just solid. Even the Shada, like, friggin', forget his name.
Damien,
yeah. I keep thinking it's Lucian, but it's not. Damien, yeah. He is, yeah, I don't know why. Like, my wires keep getting crossed on my head. I'm like, I know it's not Lucian. Stop telling me that, Brady. Like, no, go ahead with it, man. But yeah, no, Damien, oh my god. Like, the one pick
that I did of them, like on my downtime, features all three of them. I'm like, yeah, no, there you go. I wanted to draw one and then the other and then the other. Like, you know what? Nah, fuck it. All three of them. Let's go.
Yep, I've saw it. It's pretty great.
Thank you very much. But yeah, let's see what else. Been wanting to draw. Oh, Onimai as well, definitely. Onimai, like I Am Now Your Sister, like the one with the gender bend lolly.
Oh yes, that one. Yep.
Oh man, that one speaks to me for some reason. I want to draw a fan art of that. I'm gonna like as soon as I get some free time again. That's next on the list. And the one with I forget the name of the anime. Something Daddies.
Buddy Daddies.
Buddy Daddies, yes. Oh my god, that lolly is incredible. I want to draw her. Like she needs to be drawn. There is not enough art of her.
Yeah, I feel like that show for some, like Dr. X and I actually have watched several episodes, but then we just kind of stopped watching it, and it was pretty fun. But yeah, I feel like that show didn't get enough momentum for some reason. But yeah, I do like her character a lot.
I think I'd like continuing to watch that. I think it just goes back to what you just said, where like because it didn't get as much momentum, it's easier to kind of fade away from your mind, and you get distracted with other stuff. I think it might have gotten more attention with like the yaoi/BL communities. So
I don't doubt it. It's because like it came out. The one thing that when that came out, and I told some of my friends about it, everyone pretty much said the same thing. Oh, the Spy Family knockoff.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, it came out at a bad time.
I'm like, no, it's not, dude. It came out around the same time, and they were like, I prefer Anya. But no, that's not the point. It's not the same thing. It's a completely different story, completely different setting. It just feels like the same because like thematically it's similar, but no, it's like completely, it's its own thing. And they were like, nah, I just prefer Spy Family. That's fine. So I think it got overshadowed.
Yeah, I bet if it was released like a different time, it probably would have gotten more attention. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when me and Hydra were watching it, we joked about the lolly getting spit roasted by the two daddies.
So some artists get on that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's on the list.
Now, what anime are you currently watching, or like, are you thinking of watching that might have like a lolly character or anything like that? Have you got anything on your watch list?
Honestly, I don't know. I actually don't know how lolly heavy it is, but I have been wanting to get into One Piece. I know it's a daunting task, and I know it's going to take me something of a lifetime and a half, but we chip away that mountain, eventually we'll get there. So yeah, I've been dipping my toes in some One Piece. I've been really liking it. Let's see, an anime with lollies on it. I've been wanting to get back into Made in Abyss. I hadn't watched the entirety of season 2. I watched it sort of broken up. So I want to get back on that as soon as I have the chance.
I love Made in Abyss.
Oh my god. Made in Abyss is one of those where like I keep thinking, man, I should draw stuff for Made in Abyss. But anytime I do, I'm like, what the hell do I draw? Because it's like, for some reason, it doesn't hit me. I know this is like a fucking skill issue or something, but I can't really think of something that's like lewd. I think I would have more fun drawing like safe for work stuff with Made in Abyss. I don't know why. Because it's horny as hell. Like the manga is so fucking horny.
And the original creator likes not safe for work art of his characters.
Oh, he loves it. And I keep thinking like, okay, now I'm gonna draw like Reg and the blonde lolly, and I can't. God damn it. I need to think of something. And then I keep thinking, oh, maybe it could be like a non-con scenario, or like, oh, she ran afoul of some creatures from the abyss, and they want to use her as a seedbed. But then I'm like, that's derivative. I want to think of something to make it mine, and I can't tap into that for some fucking reason. I want to so much. I have sat down so many times and went, all right, I'm going to draw Nanachi tonight. What do I do? I have no idea. And then that well just dries right up, and then I draw anything else. Oh my God. But that is one. I need to get back into Made in Abyss. I have to finish the second season. And oh man, I need to just crank my head and produce something with that, because I have been aching for it, and I never had that like aha moment that I feel would work.
It's such an interesting situation that, Made in Abyss is so horny, and all the lolly and Shota stuff, but it's still like very popular with normies. I find that fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. Like what's wrong with that? Oh, because this one's interesting. So, no, it's okay when he does it.
I wonder if it's one of those ironic things where, like, because Made in Abyss, it gets pretty heavy at a lot of points, and does have a lot of violence in it. And I mean, it might be one of those ironic things where, like, I don't know, that they enjoy the fact that, like, the normies anyway, like the fact that it's like very edgy and very violent or something, and like that they ignore the fact that it's horny too. I don't know. It's hard to say.
One thing someone said, which I kind of see their point of view in regards to that, is like, they don't see the horny as out of place.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's not shoehorned into it. They're like, look, their society is just like this. They're like, you know what? If there were in a society where they treat orphans, like, they send orphans down a hole which will make them sick, and it's filled with dangerous animals that can just kill them in a heartbeat. Maybe caring about, gender segregation and shit and being moralists about it isn't a big deal. So they're like, oh, you know what? The overeager lolly who can't stop taking her top off doesn't seem out of place.
It could be true the dynamic between her and Reg also feels very natural, probably to the normies too.
Yeah,
it could be that as well, because I get what they say when they say things are shoehorned in, like, fan service things. Whereas in Made in Abyss, it feels like that doesn't happen. It feels like it just kind of more naturally occurs.
Yeah. For instance, right? You don't have Reg, no, actually, look, Reg is a furry, but he lusts for Nanachi.
Yeah, he loves her soft fur. Yep.
Exactly, but he doesn't lust after Riku. His thing is different. Like with her, he has this friendship, this enduring friendship, and then, oh man, and then in the manga, like, Faputa comes along and Riku asks if she could sniff her butthole. I don't fucking know what's going on in that shit, man. Oh, that manga's weird, and I fucking love it. It is amazing. But yeah, I want to. I just never managed to like tap into that, and I think it's a joint. The fact that it's so hip with the normies, as you say, is because it manages to merge and like, I guess, coalesce. Not even that, just sort of like have the right contrast between innocence and edge. So because like I like seeing like watching them explore shit and have this like, yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom of it, and at the same time in the back of my head I know that if they do, they're gonna fucking die.
Only if they go up, only if they go up, as the meme shows. Like there was that funny meme where it showed like an elevator and a guy like screaming in his chair, like when he saw the elevator in Made in Abyss.
Yeah.
Shows like Made in Abyss they can sometimes be one of the things that bridges the gap between the normies and the people who already are part of the Lolly Shota community. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
So when that happens, that's good, because that means that you're going to get some people who may cross over to the other side, or are more going to become more accepting of it, or that's usually how it goes. Something that's very, very popular tends to, especially if like you get really popular characters that people really like, or they really like the show, they tend to come to the defense of any kind of fan art much more quickly than if it was something they didn't know or it wasn't super popular. It's very interesting how it's all very like psychological with how it works.
I'll just say this. Have you ever seen a lot of hate directed towards shit like Cardcaptor Sakura?
No.
Yeah. Do you see, like, whenever an artist draws, and this, mind you, this isn't even Lolly Show related, but, if we're going by the moralist, standpoint, Sailor Moon, a lot of hentai.
Yep.
People fucking love it. And you don't see a lot of them going, oh, what's her fucking age, man? Whenever someone posts hentai of it, of Sailor Moon on Twitter.
It's kind of like that with Pokemon a bit too.
Yeah.
There's definitely like an element of how popular something is. Like people are willing to cut it more slack a lot of the time.
Exactly. Like Art of Khaz, Misty from Pokemon.
Yep.
Art of Misty. There is an entire subreddit dedicated to Misty hentai. It's just there. They don't allow lolly, but there's Misty hentai. There's a Misty lewd cosplayers. Nobody's over there saying, "Oh, but what's her age, though?" That's like you hit the nail on the head there. I feel.
I wonder if it's like a legacy thing too, like that a character has been around for so long and has endured for so long that it kind of like it just kind of has crystallized itself. So you can't really anybody who like asks those kinds of questions or like tries to go against it, they're gonna immediately get pushed back.
Could be.
Because I mean, Misty's been around for almost 25 years. No, 25 years now, her character. So, that's quarter of a century.
I think more, like
multiple generations now know her character. So it's like that legacy that it built of that character is the reason why I think no real harm comes to them when people do art. And that's why she's like a go-to.
Like if you look at, I guess one of the classic examples of people obsessing over character ages is probably My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
But that shit is still ongoing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas with Misty, she's had her time in the sun already in the Pokemon anime several years ago. So she's part of that legacy. So she's not like in the circulation as much. So I feel like it's exactly what Hydra said with the legacy thing.
It could be. It could also be that. Because, like, I legitimately don't get it. Because you get hentai done of My Hero Academia. Or if you post, like, anything. Like, oh my god, I genuinely cannot stand. I kind of don't even pay attention to the fandom of My Hero Academia anymore, especially the Western side of it, because like all they do is bitch. Oh my god, every single thing. Oh, this character's panties showed up in this one angle of this one issue of the manga, and then they make this whole thing of it, and I'm like, oh my lord, that is tiresome. So I don't understand. I don't know why, because I don't see that done as hard anywhere else. Maybe the Genshin community, but they stopped. And I can't tell why they stopped. I don't know the logic behind it. I guess they just got shouted down.
feel like there's like a sort of bandwagon fad sort of thing that comes in they can come in waves, you know?
Maybe. I just love how they try doing like pulling the same thing with Blue Archive. Like some time ago, I remember finding out about Blue Archive because someone on Twitter was complaining about it. And this, I remember I had an artist friend who constantly told us about Blue Archive, but I didn't connect the dots. Like I didn't realize that he was talking about this one thing, and I was like, what the hell? Why are people complaining? Like, these are adorable. And then they're like, it's because look at their age and this and that and the other. And I'm like, so?
Yep.
I think that's what happens is people just go, so, and then that whole kind of pushback again, it fizzles out. And then that's what happens.
Yeah. And then a week later, literally like a week later, give or take, it was just gone, and I never heard anything about it again. The only time I heard like people bitching once more was back when there was an announcement that they were working on a Blue Archive anime, and then I remember seeing like some post or another on Twitter. Oh, out of so many anime, they're gonna make this one. Yeah. Yeah, they are, because like it's literally one of the, I think it's either one of or the biggest and most downloaded game on the Play Store, I think, at the moment. So yeah, no fucking shit, it's gonna, and it's great. Like if you haven't, I recommend you watch some of the streams where the some of the artists, like they interview the artists sometimes, and they go like, oh, so what were your, it's always the same thing. It was like, oh, so what was your decision behind the what was your thought process behind the decisions that led to this character's design? Oh, we thought it'd be cute. It is always that. They just go like, oh yeah, no, we thought that the wings on her hip would be cute. And then giving her little cat eyes, like sometimes when she gets nervous, that was also a cute thing. So we put it in. And then we thought to ourselves, how would she look in a bikini? So we did that. It's always that.
Very respectable.
Yeah. Oh, you got to give him credit. And I love how the company, like the parent company behind Blue Archive, they know what they're doing. They absolutely fucking know. There was this one stream where the guy was like, oh, I'm seeing a lot of crying emojis. It was this stuffy corporate looking guy, and he was just talking on and on about the game, and people were just like crying emojis everywhere. Whoa, and he genuinely went like, I see you putting a lot of crying emojis in the comments. Keep them coming. We know we love seeing it. And I'm like, oh god, this guy is so cool.
That's awesome.
I wonder if he even knew what those emojis meant.
He definitely knew, man. Trust me, you don't work for Blue Archive without knowing what's going on. It is impossible. It is impossible.
I think it also plays into the thing too, like what you said. Like they just design these characters because they want to make them cute, and they want to create them.
Exactly.
What ends up happening is when whether you're a small creator or a big time studio like they are, if you just maintain your minds or your principles really of being like, I want to create this because it's fun and I like it, other people I think are attracted to that or respect that more when you just are like, well, I'm just making this because I enjoy it for myself, or, well, I just make this because I think everybody else is going to like it, and I thought the design was great, and they're unwavering in that commands a lot more interest from people.
There's this one artist I know, I absolutely look up to him. I'm not going to name him right now, but I absolutely fucking love the guy. And I remember one thing he told me when I was asking him for like, all right, so how do I, like, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of stuck. I feel like I lost traction. And he was like, you know what you could do? You can draw what you love. You do that, the people will feel the love in what you draw, and then they'll come.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. And that was the inspiration behind me drawing that Spy Family pic, because I was like, oh man, I want to draw a fan art of that. I fucking love Anya. I'm loving this anime. So let's try it. Let's give it a try. And it is legitimately like one of my favorite pics that I've ever drawn. And it's just because I put so much, and I basically like didn't give a shit anymore. I was like, yeah, screw it. I'm going to draw what I want and not really give a shit. And then, yeah, it worked. That's what I feel more people should do, because these days, one thing we're seeing in regards to a lot of new projects, and I understand, trust me, I get it, money's great, but a lot of projects these days are more safe and they're money driven. It's all for the profit. So we have to produce something that everyone will like. It's like a wide casting net. Now, trust me, nothing wrong with that. But don't feel surprised, or at least it shouldn't come as a surprise at this point, especially because we have so many examples of it not working out, where if you try to appease everyone, you appease no one. Because that's not how this works.
Yep.
You have to draw. You have to draw what you love. You have to produce what you love, animate what you love. And that's why, people complain a lot these days. Oh, animations feel soulless. Well, yeah. Like, why do you think manga and anime have been taking over? It's because a lot of these things are like these passion projects made by absolute lunatics who are just trying their best to stand out in the sea of content. And if you make something that like people can feel the love in, that's going to be enough. Sometimes it's not, mind you, but
So Khaz, if someone wants to find your work, how can they find you?
They can find me on PixieV. They can find me on Barrog. They can also find me on Twitter. On Twitter, I haven't been posting a lot of art there for obvious reasons. I am on my first Twitter account. Mind you, I never got banned, not once.
Wow, nice.
Yeah. Oh, never happened.
You must have been very strategic.
Yeah, very, very strategic. First ever, never happened before. Khaz_art on Barrog. How did I call myself? I think it's just Khaz. Yeah, at Khaz. And on PixieV, you can find me under Khaz as well. Just Khaz. Or Khaz. No, I think there's already someone else there called Khaz. But it's Khaz-K. You can find me under there as well.
Sweet. And so I think you said that you take commissions sometimes?
Yeah. Normally I have commissions open. It's just a matter of DMing me for the details. I will get back to you as soon as I can. I have been fairly busy recently, so I haven't been able to check DMs as often as I wanted. But as soon as I catch a break, I will check the DMs that I have. I will get back to you. Don't worry. It could take a while, but I will, inevitably get to you. And yeah, if anyone here listening to this ever wants to commission, go right ahead. Hit me up. My DMs are always open. And yeah, we're just hit me up. I've got no rules. If I think something's too weird, I just won't publish it. But we're good.
Awesome. And do you have like a subscribe star as well?
No, I have a fan box.
We really had a good time with you on this podcast episode. I feel like this was a great episode for motivation for creators and artists, and I really think you gave a lot of great insight and a lot of great knowledge and tips on how to get into the right mindset and the right headspace, and how to remain positive during the different trials and tribulations that you'll face as an artist or a creator.
Well, I appreciate it.
Thank you. I also had a lot of fun. This was great. And I'm glad that I could be, of help.
Yeah, it was fantastic having you on.
And if you ever want to come back for, a future episode, because, that there's always stuff that we may not have gotten to, that if you ever want to come back, we can always set up another time in the future.
Oh, hell yeah. Would love that.